Everybody, welcome to my Paths to Knowledge presentation. Yes, I want that. Okay. So, I want to try and answer question 17, which asks, why are human beings such funny creatures? We are hypocritical, cruel, and careless, but we have an immense capacity for altruism, empathy, and even love. Why are we like this? And in order to take a good look at this, I think we need to start looking at human behavior. Yes. And I'm going to start by looking at one of my favorite movies of all time, which is Remember the Titans. This sequence, I think, really hits it home.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Wake up, gentlemen. It's late. It's 3 a.m. in the morning. All right, listen up. You will follow Doc, myself, and the other coaches. We're going to take a little run through the woods. If you get lost along the way, don't bother coming back to camp. Just hitchhike your hind parts on home. Any questions?
Coach, it's a high school football team. We're not the Marines here.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Tell me where have you been, my blue-eyed son? Where have you been, my darling young one? I've stumbled upon the side of the well-busy mountain. I've walked and I've crawled over six crooked highways. But it's hard. It's hard. It's hard.
Come on, baby. Can't take no risk. Can't take no risk.
Gonna fall.
Anybody know what this place is?
This is Gettysburg. This is where they fought the Battle of Gettysburg. 50,000 men died right here on this field, fighting the same fight that we're still fighting amongst ourselves today. This green field right here, painted red, bubbling with blood of young boys, smoke, and hot lead pouring right through their bodies. Listen to their souls, man. I killed my brother with malice in my heart, hatred, destroyed my family. You listen. Take a lesson from the dead. If we don't come together right now on this hollow ground, we too will be destroyed. Just like they will. I don't care if you like each other or not, but you will respect each other. And maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll learn to play this game like men.
All right. Don't be doing that. Okay. So, obviously, Coach Boone has a great coaching philosophy, and he wants all these men to be brought together and form a great team. His coaching philosophy extends beyond the football field, though. He wants to grow these high schoolers into strong, intelligent young men who are able to have rich, meaningful lives with meaningful relationships of all different kinds of people. Now, let's move on to a psychology study that was done by Solandi, Colgren, and Reno. These people acknowledge that societal norms tend to dictate, or it's believed to dictate, how human beings act. This societal norms are still technically a theory, but there's a lot of evidence that proves that this theory is a thing. They took a look at littering and how often people litter given certain social cues. So what they found is that people tend to litter more in areas that are already littered, and they litter less in cleaner areas. This seems like a no-brainer, right? Well, let's take a look at the implications. Either way, people tended to follow the crowd, whether it was littering or not littering. We follow social norms because we want to be included. We want to be the in group. We want to be accepted among other people. And sometimes this means that we choose to not rock the boat, even maybe when we should. All right. Now let's move on to theater. One of my favorite musicals, obviously it's a list of my favorites, but they all apply, I promise you, is Next Normal. In Next Normal, mental illness is examined under the lens of family life. Diana, her husband Dan, their daughter Natalie, and their son Gabe are an American family. But whether or not this family is typical is up to you. Let's give you guys a little bit of a taste of what this musical is like.
When a world that once had color fades to white and gray and black. When tomorrow terrifies you, but you'll die if you look back. You don't know. I know you don't know. You say that you're hurting. It sure doesn't show. You don't know. It lays me so low when you say let go, and I say you don't know. The sensation that you're screaming, but you never make a sound, or the feeling that you're falling, but you never hit the ground. It just keeps on rushing at you, day by day by day by day. You don't know what it's like to live that way, like a refugee, a fugitive, forever on the run. If it gets me, it will kill me, but I don't know what I've done.
Okay, so as you can tell, this is a really interesting play. And essentially, the mother, Diana, is suffering from extreme manic depression, and she's just trying to make it through her life. The father, Dan, is also suffering from depression, but he's trying to ignore it while holding his whole family together. Their daughter, Natalie, just wants to be noticed, and their son, Gabe, just wants to be left alone. Meanwhile, this boy, Henry, is trying to start dating Natalie, but at the same time, he gets drawn into the situation as well, and the whole thing is seen by several different physicians, several different psychotherapists who are trying to figure this family out. At the end of the musical, everybody realizes that in order to get out of this darkness that they're stuck in, they need to search for the light together, even though circumstances and space may be separating them. Now let's move on to photography. This is Dwayne Michaels, another one of my favorite photographers. He is just amazing, and he tends to work with photo sets and photo series, and I'm going to submit 2 different projects of his to kind of prove my point. The first one is called Chance Meeting. You can kind of tell that these people don't know each other, but at the end of the last couple frames, both men look back, even though the other doesn't notice. Are they trying to attempt to connect to each other? Do they want a relationship? Do they want to just realize that they're not the only person in this world trying to figure things out? I don't know. It's up for the viewer to decide. I'm no expert. My second photograph is called This Photograph is Proof. The caption says, "This photograph is my proof that there was this relationship this afternoon where things were still good between us. And she embraced me, and we were so happy. It did happen. She did love me. Look for yourself." All right. As you look at it, this shows that this is once a happy relationship, but the text tends to imply this relationship is done. But then, if this relationship ended poorly, why do you still have this photograph? Why is there text at the bottom? Why did you add this? I think it's because it was important. I would argue that relationships are one of the most important things that humans can have, and it's one of the huge things that dictate how we act. And does that mean that people that don't have healthy relationships are bad people or act poorly? I would say yes. I mean, let's look at this guy. Lord Voldemort really didn't have any kind of relationship that was like on an equal level. He had servant relationships, but those that really help you grow and develop as a human being. I mean, sociopaths are able to form healthy relationships, and they end up being serial killers a lot of the time. So you can see, and there are countless other examples besides the people that I have here. Maybe people even act poorly because they tried to help one another. They tried to make a human connection, but were rebuffed and unable to do so. Human beings are funny essentially because we are human. There isn't just one motivation that decides how we act, it's hundreds of thousands of motivations. But I argue that one of those big motivations is a relationship with others. I mean, there's so many different materials that look at human relationships. I mean, we want to care and be cared for. It's part of being human. When I first started this class, I asked this question because I wanted to find one straight answer about people. I wanted to try to understand them without having to try too hard. I just wanted one simple answer. And now I see that's a really silly thing to want. As Midgley pointed out, science isn't the end-all, so while my answer isn't necessarily scientific, that's okay. And even then, it's only one possible reason I think people act this way. So, I mean, let's take a look around our class. Didn't we form some meaningful relationships here? Didn't we help each other grow and learn and, have some fun in this class? I don't know. I guess it's up for you guys to decide. In the end, I want to close with a quote from Dwayne Michaels. "It is no accident that you are reading this. I am making black marks on white paper, and although I do not know who you are reading this right now, in some way the lines of our lives have intersected. For the length of these few sentences, we meet here. It is no accident that you are reading this. This moment has been waiting for you. I have been waiting for you. Remember me." And I think that quote attests to how much we long for connections, how much people need other people. Thank you guys so much for a really fun year, and thank you for listening to me, and I hope I was able to help you out somehow with this topic.